people, what's up? I hope you guys are doing because I'm not. I just got diagnosed with a certain disease in my intestine, but, well, that does not matter. So welcome back to this channel. And guys, in case you have not seen Smile 2, and you're looking to scare yourself a little bit, and maybe mess with mental health issues, you are gonna like this movie, so let's dive into it. This movie is a horror and psychological thriller. It is also the second installment of the Smile saga. If you guys remember seeing those viral TikTok or Instagram videos where allegedly random people were captured, smiling in a very creepy way. Turns out this was a genius marketing campaign for the movie. I mean, let's be honest. When I first saw those videos, I thought they were real and certainly gave me chills. So in case you missed it, there is a curse that is loose among the population, but what is it about? Let's say you go around with your normal life, when suddenly you notice a person is having erratic behavior along with daunting visions, perhaps delusion of persecution. This person could be a family member or a friend or some that is close to you. Now imagine that person suddenly changes demeanor and instead gives you a disturbing and exaggerated smile and then commits suicide in front of you. Well, in such a case, you must know that now you are cursed. Strange things will start happening to you. These things will escalate in intensity, but most importantly, you will notice how random people seem to stare at you with the most deranged smile that you can imagine. All of this will slowly alter your perception of reality until you no longer can recognize whether you are hallucinating or not. So, dear puppies, the first movie was considered by many to be one of the best modern horror films. That's why many fans were skeptical about a sequel, because it is very common that subsequent films are not as good as the original movie. They tend to be really bad and end up undermining the whole saga. Yes, I'm talking to you, Shrek the Third, or you Hotel Transylvania, and let's not even talk about the Joker too. It seems that nowadays a movie just needs a little bit of success to have a second part. Fortunately, this is not the case. This is a pretty decent sequel. If what you are expecting is to be scared and jump a couple of times, then the movie fulfills that. Actually, we can say that the first movie was more of a psychological horror. A movie that played with our perception. The second one is more inclined to the jump scares with just a bit of psychological horror. And it even includes some black comedy. This movie exceeded my expectations. And I think that thanks to the performance of Naomi Scott, she certainly takes and carries the whole movie with a brilliant and very convincing performance. She by herself keeps you entertained with her screams, her expressions and gestures. You believe her in the pain scenes that are bloody and brutal. See, this Plows takes place 6 days after the first movie, and it revolves around a pop star that is about to release her last world tour. Happens that this famous pop star comes from a 1-year rehabilitation process after a fatal car accident. Accident that, by the way, caused serious back injuries, and that's why, unfortunately, our protagonist fights against the addiction for medicine to cure the pain. But that fight does not go well. So sometimes she needs some illegal substance that helps her endure the day-to-day. One evening, she goes seeking a bit of that substance with one of her friends. However, the situation becomes complicated and takes a completely violent and sinister turn. Suddenly, and without even realizing it, she becomes the latest victim of an entity that psychologically harasses people playing with their weaknesses. So, yeah, it is basically the same story from the first movie, just this is a pop star instead of a psychiatrist. Could it maybe be that Hollywood producers think that if the protagonists of their movies are pop stars, that would drag the attention from younger generations and more people are going to watch these movies? I mean, it is a possibility, right? Anyway, that's not so important. I'm getting off topic. I must also recognize the great photography work that has a very creepy visual aesthetic. Many of the scenes were mesmerizing with very well-executed shots and quite convincing effects. Another thing I should also highlight is the sound design that is spectacular. And the musical score is really shocking. It accentuates the suspense in several scenes. Maybe the only thing that fails a little bit is the story, especially at the end of the movie because it becomes pretty repetitive and depends a lot on jump scares. Even though I enjoyed a lot this movie, I kind of would have liked that it could explain us more about the origin of this entity. Considering it lasts for 2 hours, would have been interesting having more information about the origins of the entity. Even though all of this, and as I mentioned earlier, the movie is pretty enjoyable, I highly appreciate the fact that they take us as the spectators through the life of this pop star. From concert rehearsals, the choreography, and practicing with the dancers. Photography sessions, the meet and greets with fans. I mean, I really felt like we were following the life of an actual celebrity. And seeing all the Instagram posts, I still think the Sky Riley character is not 100% fictional. I don't know. I am very confused. I think I got it completely wrong. And the actress is also a pop singer. I am still so confused. Never mind, guys. Once you see this movie, you will notice the amount of effort they put into filming it. Everyone seems to be involved, and I love it. For me, this movie is a solid 8 out of 10. Now, since the release of Smile Part 1, it has been relating a lot with mental health issues and how the movie tries to approach this topic in a figurative sense, for example. Riley is a celebrity that fights her own intimate demons. Let's say it's trauma and depression from her boyfriends. Death in which she feels guilt at some degree, but she is forced to smile at people, at cameras. Has to pretend to be happy all the time. It's her job to appear as a perfect role model. So, that leads to the next question. Have you ever considered that we put a lot of pressure on all of these celebrities? Whether they are singers, actors, or even social media influencers, it is true that the public expects them to be a certain way all the time. It is also true that we all at some point have dreamed with this idea of being famous, right? Can you imagine being famous, rich, and perhaps receiving hundreds, if not thousands, of messages, comments, likes from random people all over the world? I personally can't do it because I literally receive 0 messages on my social media. I don't know about you, but I have like no friends at all. What I'm trying to say is that they made significant effort for the audience to connect with a character that in appearance looks distant to us, but they did it. Public recognition must bring some criticism, scrutiny, pressure, etc. This reminds me of Britney Spears, or more recently the case of Liam Payne. Just the amount of stress these kinds of people can go through, right? I'm not implying the movie makes a deep analysis of celebrities fighting their inner demons or just how difficult their lives can be. No. At the end of the day, there are some serious problems like war, diseases like cancer, bankruptcy. So paying attention to the private lives of famous people is just fucking stupid. But puppies, please let me know what you guys think about this one in the comment section. I would like to read your opinion. If you agree or disagree with me, that is for today. Bye-bye.